Have you been considering the Volkswagen ID.4 but haven't made a decision yet? Well, now you can add this car to your considerations.
This is the Volkswagen ID.5 Pro, which is one of two variants you can get of the ID.5 in Singapore. It is also virtually identical to the ID.4 variants, save for a few differences, which means if you're deciding between the ID.4 and ID.5, the biggest point of consideration would probably be the exterior design, some different features, and the price. Regardless which, they are all competent EVs that are great choices for families and comfortable daily driving. So allow me to share with you the things about the Volkswagen ID.5 Pro that stood out to me the most, both good and not so good.
I think the exterior design of the ID.5 is rather simple and minimalistic, with a touch of sportiness due to its sloped roofline at the back. There is also a light strip at the front that connects the two headlights, similar to the lights at the rear. The taillight is made up of panels of lights, which kind of makes it look like an evolving 3D structure depending on which angle you're viewing it at. There is plenty of boot space as you'd expect from an SUV-ish design. On its own like this, you get a relatively flat flooring, but you can also remove this thing if you need more space. The rear cabin is rather simple and spacious. The material of these seats is called Art Velour, which is basically another synthetic suede material similar to Alcantara. You get two aircon vents with a touchscreen display for your temperature control. Other than that, you get two USB-C ports above the aircon vents. Apart from your standard seat compartments, you also get another seat compartment on top. I think this one is probably meant for your phone, or I don't know, maybe you can hang something here, like a hook. But if you do that, I imagine this will be stretched over time, so don't hang things, put in here what you will. On both seats you get these holes. I'm not sure what their purpose is for. Sport seat experts do advise if you know the reason. I imagine you can tickle the person in front of you, but please don't do that to the driver. Shotgun passenger, you tickle. Driver, no. The front cabin is rather minimalistic in the sense that there is a complete lack of physical buttons, save for the ones you get on the steering wheel. The gear shift can be found here, and the rest of the settings are found on the infotainment screen. While I definitely prefer physical buttons over touchscreen buttons, the upside here is that the interface is rather simple and intuitive. Every essential setting can be accessed with a single touch, and that is a great thing. In the ID.5 Pro, you get Harman Kardon speakers as standard. While not the best Harman Kardon system I've had the pleasure of experiencing, it still sounds pretty good in general. With the EQ settings, you get more than just your three usual suspects. Rather than bass, mid and treble, you get a more technical offering. Now for those who are not very audio savvy, these numbers might be confusing for you. But no worries, here's a simple layman explanation for you. Other than that, the interior is very spacious. You get sport seats with adjustable armrests. You also get an inner lumbar support, which you can adjust with this button thing at the side. There is also no real center tunnel, which means the thing you put the cash card in for the new OBU 2.0 system can be placed right here, which is very convenient because you can just access the cash card like this. Lastly, there is no sunroof, and the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are not wireless. There are 4 drive modes: Eco, Comfort and Sport, which can all be accessed by this touchscreen button right here. Ironically, Eco mode is to me the most comfortable drive. And Comfort mode drives like a good EV should, leaving nothing much else to be desired. Sport mode feels like whatever that's holding back the car has been removed, giving it more freedom. There is no option to adjust your regenerative braking power, and the closest thing you have to getting more braking power when you lift the accelerator pedal is to change from drive to B mode. To me, this is unfortunately considered as an essential feature that's missing. Speaking of features, you get the standard suite of safety features, including 360 cam. All their settings are easily accessible by this touchscreen button right here. The odd thing is you can change the sensitivity for some, but for some others you can't. I'm not sure why, but it would be nice to be able to adjust the sensitivity for all of them. But that being said, the safety features generally work very well, seamlessly integrating with the driving experience, so I don't really have much to complain. One thing I really like is how small and compact the dashboard screen is. It displays only the most essential information, and I can see everything even with the steering wheel positioned to the lowest, which is the way I prefer to drive. It's also closer to you, so it's easier to see and it feels more personal. Overall, the driving experience is extremely comfortable. If you want to brake harder while traveling at a faster speed, while the brake pedal does require you to step in deeper, it's something that I got used to after a while, so no issues with that. The rear spoiler kind of partially blocks your view, and the only solution to that is to remove it. Other than that, the ID.5 Pro is very pleasant to drive, and that to me is the most important thing. Being very similar to the ID4, which has not been discontinued yet, it's hard to say who exactly is the ID5 for. In terms of differences, it seems to be practically identical to the ID4 GTX without the additional motor power and panoramic sunroof. For that, it's 10k more expensive than the ID4 and 10k cheaper than the ID4 GTX. In summary, I think of it like this. If the ID4 has everything you need, consider that. But if you want more power, a panoramic sunroof, and a Harman Kardon speaker system, consider the ID4 GTX. Or if you only want the Harman Kardon speaker system and you prefer a sportier design, consider the ID5 Pro. But if you want everything that I've just mentioned, consider the ID5 GTX. It's practically identical to the ID4 GTX with a few cosmetic changes and $10,000 more. And that's it for my impressions of the ID5 Pro. If you feel that there are some things that I should have talked about, or if there's anything you would like to see more of, please let me know in the comments below. And lastly, do leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you again on the next one.